Well, here on Lakeshore, I have two shows. I have Midwest Beat with Tom Lounges, which is a celebrity interview program on Tuesdays. I also have the Midwest Beat Blues Show, which airs on Friday nights here. And complete different animals. One is pre-recorded, all about blues music. Once in a blue moon, I'll have a blues artist guest, but usually it's just me playing different types of blues, talking about the history of the blues, and sometimes we're thematic about it. My senior year of high school, I didn't have any real goals. I planned to go to college, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I had a teacher at Highland High School, Joe Fetty, who challenged me. He was the one teacher that really challenged me and said, "What are you going to do with your life?" Because I really had no direction. And I said, "I don't know." And I used to doodle on my folders. I'd draw like the little logos of Average White Band or Aerosmith or Kiss or whatever the band of the day was. They had creative logos. So he goes, "Well, you obviously like music. Why don't you do something in music?" And I had already done the singer thing, and that did not work at all. I realized I had no talent on stage, and I was, should not be there. So I figured out maybe behind the scenes. Well, I was a big fan of Larry Lujak, Super Jock. And I said, I want to be the new Larry Lujak. So he goes, "How are you going to do that?" I said, "I don't know." So a couple weeks later, he came in with a canary yellow book, and it was Super Jock, the story of Larry Lujak. And he says, "Read this. Maybe you get some ideas." And that opened the door to me to consider radio. I thought I'd be the new Larry Lujak. I was going to go right into rock and roll and take the world by storm, and found out that like any other job, you need to have credentials, background, resume. Nobody would hire me. So I did get a job at a station in the south side of Chicago, and I started engineering midnights. I did news, I did different reports, and then I started engineering overnights with Black Gospel. I learned about blues, jazz, gospel. I started, knowing about Andre Crouch and the Disciples, and the ministers there. They taught me who Quincy Jones was, who Robert Johnson was, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, and the impact that those artists had on music in general. And that was my first foray into radio. And from there, I went and did rock and roll. I was a jock on Night Rock, which was owned by Headwish Records at the time. And I've just been going ever since. In 2012, I left terrestrial commercial radio at that time. And about 2 days later, I got a call from the powers that be here at Lakeshore. This was in 2012. And I went on the air in December 2012, and I've been here ever since. Every person has a story, and every story is different. And even if you interview the same person 2 or 3 years apart, the story has changed, it's evolved. And you get to know that story, you get to see how it progresses. And to be able to tell their story verbally, and then especially in the case of musicians, and then plug in some of their music. I've actually bonded with a lot of these artists. And when I get someone to say something like, "I've never been asked that," or "What a great spin on something," to me, I've done my job. That's what I strive for.